Well, that was our correspondent, Aline Macbull. Let's speak now to Stephen Strang, author of God, Trump and the 2020 election. He was voted by Time magazine as one of the 25 most influential evangelicals in America. Welcome, Stephen Strang, to our programme. Since when did churches become backdrops and Bibles props for photo opportunities?
Well, when the media wanted them to be. You know, we can debate if Donald Trump used wisdom or not. Maybe he didn't. I wasn't there. I can identify with that woman because I was tear gassed once in the Vietnam War era when I was covering a small riot, I guess you'd say, as a student journalist. But I think that it's always right for the president to show that he's in control. He was wanting to show, I believe, this is my opinion because I've not interviewed him, that he was not going down to the bunker. He had been criticized by that the previous day, that he wasn't afraid to go outside. And people have criticized him holding up a Bible. I'm a Bible-believing Christian. I think that it's wonderful when anyone holds up a Bible, especially the President of the United States.
Even as a prop, not reading from it, nothing other than showing it to the media. You heard that interview from the clergy just there who were there. They were cleared with tear gas. There was alongside peaceful protesters. She describes it as sacrilege. Doesn't all of those scenes make you feel uncomfortable?
Well, of course, and if I was there, maybe I'd feel like she did. But, you know, we're talking about different worldviews. And I have a worldview that Christianity is right, that the Bible is right. And a lot of Christians in this country are feeling under siege, not unlike the African Americans who are feeling under siege by the police. Now, it's different. But Donald Trump has been a champion, and we don't approve of everything he does. He's not a perfect man by any means. And I can only speculate what he did, but leaving the White House, he probably saw the Bible, he picked it up, he was going over to a church. Of course, he's not going to read from the Bible in a situation like that. But I think he wanted to just send a signal that he's relying on God, that the Bible is important to him, and that he's believing that somehow God is going to answer prayers of many, many Christians. I got emails today from personal friends that was their way of calling on people to pray. We're praying that this violence will be put down, that America will be healed. And there's a lot of Christian leaders.
And yet constantly in his comments, he talks about lawbreakers and looting. And of course, there is that going on, but the massive majority are peaceful protests. Isn't this, and the worry is, it's about dividing lines for this president, and he calculates this perhaps helps him, galvanises his base, galvanises the church at the expense of others.
Oh, I totally disagree. You know, these divides have been going on for many years. I remember the civil rights protests over the years. This has been a powder keg waiting to go off. There's not any sane American that approves of what happened in Minneapolis. Nobody. We are not divided on that. We're divided.
Why haven't we heard then the president talking about that, talking about George Floyd? Andrew Cuomo yesterday was saying the reason he thinks the president constantly focuses on looters and lawbreakers is because he doesn't want to talk about George Floyd and the issues that throws up that perhaps need to be addressed.
Oh, that's wrong. Right after it happened, he made statements. He made statements himself. I've seen them on television myself. Of course, that escalated from, you know, some rioting there in Minneapolis. I saw them rushing and setting fire to the police precinct. It escalated way above that. We've got to have law and order so that we can then discuss these issues. These are very important issues. I have spent years of my career as a journalist trying to build bridges of racial reconciliation. We had a situation 2 miles from my office, Trayvon Martin, in 2012. I was very, very involved with that. I personally feel the pain, but we're talking about bigger issues. And the same people that are criticizing Trump on this criticize him on everything. If he discovered a cure for cancer, they say he was putting doctors out of work.
It's interesting that it's interesting you say that people are supportive of what the president is doing. Reuters and Ipsos had a poll overnight in the last 24 hours that says that 47% of the public support Joe Biden on this, and only 37%, below 40%, think that Donald Trump is right.
Well, I didn't see that poll, but you know what? Those numbers are not that different from how they approve of these two men in normal times. You know, there's a lot of emotion. People are upset. I'm upset. We don't want this to happen. America is better than this. And I believe that we'll get back to normal, and Christian leaders, you know, this is not covered very widely. I thank God you're at least talking to me about it, but a lot of Christian leaders think that this is showing a deep spiritual hunger in our country. More people are
talking
tuning
about sending
into
the
church.
army in isn't deeply spiritual, is it? Not even his defense secretary supports that.
Well, of course not. And there's specific tactics that we could debate. I'm talking about the unrest in America, the whole COVID-19 thing. People are hungry for God, and we believe, we're praying for, that there'll be a great outpouring of the Holy Spirit and a revival in our country because of the desperation. We need God. The whole country needs God, but especially America right now.
Stephen Strang, we have to leave it there, but thanks for joining us here on the programme. Thanks so much.
Thank you.